What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be going over a quarterback IQ quiz to test your knowledge of the position. So essentially how this video is going to go down is we're going to show a clip just like this one on the screen here, where it's going to be a pre-snap look from a defense. I'm going to ask you guys a series of questions about this pre-snap look, about some plays that the offense is running, give you a chance to pause the video, think about what your answer might be, and then we'll break down if your answer is right or wrong, or at least what the correct answer would be. So we're going to be talking about coverages on this first clip. So based on this pre-snap look, first question is, what coverage do you think the defense is in based off of this pre-snap look? Now, whenever you're coming up to the line of scrimmage, especially as a quarterback, you want to have a pre-snap process. That pre-snap process is like what you should be looking for in terms of a defense to determine what coverage it is, so you know where to go with the ball, or if the play that you guys have called is the right play or the right course of action. So the pre-snap process I teach my quarterbacks is to look at the safeties, then to look at the corners, and then to look at the box. So if you look at those three things, that can give you a pretty good idea of what the coverage would be. So what coverage do you think this defense is in? You guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. Now, before we go over the correct answer, fellas, if you are a quarterback or a wide receiver watching this and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches, we are going to be traveling across the country to 15 different cities this offseason for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. Our camps, you guys, we limit spots and we limit availability. All of these camps will sell out probably here within the next 3 or 4 months, simply because we can work with each athlete on an individual basis, coach you up, tell you what you're doing wrong, give you things to actually improve your game. You can't accomplish that when there's, a million different people out at the camp. So that's why we limit spots. So guys, we have available spots in all of our camps. Make sure you take advantage of that. Go to that very first link in the description below. That is where you can sign up. We'll be coming out to San Francisco, then Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Columbia, South Carolina, Seattle, Washington, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Nashville, Tennessee, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Denver, Colorado, Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Massachusetts, Salt Lake City, Utah, and finishing it off in Los Angeles, California. So guys, if you want to attend, make sure you take advantage of the fact that we have available spots. Go to that very first link in the description below. That is where you can sign up. Now, if you guys said this defense was in a cover 4 look, you would be 100% correct. So how do we determine that it's cover 4? Now, actually post-snap, and we're going to talk about this because as a quarterback, you have a pre-snap read, but there are also things called post-snap reads. After you snap the ball, the defense might roll a safety down. They might bring a different look of pressure. Maybe they blitz a corner, so the coverage might change. And the coverage does change post-snap, but pre-snap, it looks like a cover 4 defense. So how do we get to that assumption, right? So obviously when we look at the safeties first, that's the start of our pre-snap process, it looks like we have 2 high deep safeties, obviously, right? Okay, so that could be a number of things. That could be cover 2, that could be cover 4, that could be cover 6. Cover 6 is when one side of the field is in 2 and the other side of the field is in 4. Generally, the short side of the field is in 2, wide side is in 4, but then we look at the corners. Now, the corners can tell us some information sometimes. A lot of the times, the corners will lie. There are a lot of times where a defense will show cover 4, but this DB will be pressed up, and then as soon as we snap the ball, he bails out of there into cover 4. That's, again, a post-snap read like we were talking about earlier. Now, to be better prepared for post-snap reads, it really just comes down to film study. Like if you're getting ready for a team and you know they like to play a lot of cover 4, but their corners love to press bail, then that's something that you could be prepared for going into the game. But right now, both corners look like they're off. They both look like they're playing. This guy's playing a little bit inside shade, but you see how his stance is turned to the inside. This corner's outside leverage, his eye to the inside. So it looks like everybody's probably going to be bailing into their deep fourths. This would be considered like your outside backer. Looks more like a safety, so it might be more so of a nickel, but this would be considered like your Mike, and that would be your outside backer. So that would be the Will, that would be the Mike, that would be the Sam, and then they got 4 down linemen right here. So it looks like a pretty simple 4-3 cover 4 defense. So now, after the snap of the ball, what ends up happening is that this guy brings pressure and blitzes, and then this safety rolls down and assumes the responsibility of him, which is that hook to curl zone, if you will. And then this safety rolls to the middle of the field, so that would actually be a cover 3 defense, because you'd have one high safety get in the middle third, this corner dropping to that third, that corner dropping to that third, but this guy rolls down. So let's play this thing full speed. So obviously you see he brings some pressure, this guy rolls down, they end up running the ball, so there's really not much we could do from a play concept perspective here, but you see how defenses can roll. So if you guys said a cover 4 defense, you would be correct, and then obviously post-snap wanted to go over how defenses can roll from a cover 4 defense to a cover 3 look. So now, fellas, we're going to give you the coverage before we ask the question, and then we're going to be talking about like where you guys would work on this play concept here. So this is a clip here from the Eagles versus Chiefs, and so what we have here at the top of the screen is we have a smash concept, right? So we have my slot receiver running a corner, and then we have my outside receiver running a hitch route, and then on the right side of the screen here, what we have is our slot receiver running a slot fade, and then we have our outside receiver running a 5-yard in, and then our running back is staying into block. So the coverage that we have here would be a cover one defense, right? So we have a single high free safety who's kind of like playing this like deep center field look. We have man coverage, man coverage, man coverage, man coverage, right? So what are we probably thinking here in terms of where we want to go with the ball? That is my question. So we have a hitch from the outside, we have a corner from the slot, we have a slot fade, and then we have a 5-yard in. So based on the coverage, what we know, cover one, man coverage across the board, single high free safety who's cheated over to the left side of the field. Which side of the field would you work as a quarterback? Would you throw the left side or would you throw the right side? So again, that's the question. Would you throw the left side or would you throw the right side? So you guys go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. So if you guys said that you would work the right side of the field, that would be 100% correct. Now, I'm not saying that a smash concept over here couldn't work versus cover one. It could, but you got to understand this safety's alignment being kind of cheated over towards the left side of the field. So I guess you could say like the wide side of the field. I probably don't want to throw that corner route, and that's a very long throw. You know, Jalen Hurts, if you're playing in the NFL, you obviously have a strong arm, and you could probably make generally any single throw on the field, but it's still a long throw. And you have man coverage, so this guy's going to be running with him, and you have a safety over the top. But at the bottom of the screen, we have a 5-yard in, which, I mean, isn't probably my favorite route versus cover one, but we do have a slot fade, right? So a slot fade is where he closes the space with this safety, and then he ends up fading to the outside, and there's nobody over there. It is a one-on-one matchup. Could we throw this corner with a one-on-one matchup? Yes, but that safety is cheated over, so we probably don't like it. And even though this corner on the outside is in man coverage, when he runs that hitch, that's still a far throw, so expect that DB to probably come off, and then they're throwing that ball into almost triple coverage at a certain point. It's unlikely that the corner gets all the way over there if the route is ran correctly, but still, you have a safety, and then you have this guy. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to man coverage, it's really just a matchup thing. What's our best matchup? Where do we have the best numbers? So let's play this full speed. So as you can see here, what does the corner do on the left side of the field? You see how he comes off of this hitch. He's running with it. Safety's cheating over. We have this 5-yard in. This linebacker actually didn't bring pressure, but we got a one-on-one matchup. And we got a really, really fast receiver. This is Devonta Smith, I believe, going up against like kind of maybe a guy who's not as well matched up against him, maybe a safety type. And so an easy win. Easy ball over the top. Just give your receiver a chance. So that's where you'd ultimately want to go. So that's how it all ties in, fellas. Like the last clip was more so a run clip, so we didn't really have a play concept called, but we talked about the pre-snap process. So if you can use that pre-snap process to determine which side of the field or which route you want to throw, you'll be better at making decisions as a quarterback, and you will be a more successful quarterback. Because at the end of the day, at a certain level, especially the college level, especially the NFL level, everybody can throw the dang ball. Everybody has good mechanics. Everybody's got a strong arm, but what separates guys is generally the mental side of the game.